Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here in the live chat. Today we're going to continue the discussions around the weather around the time of Dylan's disappearance. We'll refer back to the map as it is easier to talk through. Add in some additional points from what we heard last night. If you haven't already and you want to check out last night's video, I'll provide a link down below in the pinned comment section. Make sure to check it out after watching this one. In addition, today there is a little post on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page we'll take a look at, and maybe even look at the forum page of that Dylan Rounds discussion, because we've not looked at it since. Also, I understand that we've not really been on the maps looking at the dodgy things and bits and bobs in between, right? But the reason why we've not done it as much in recent time is because there's been some key videos which needed to be done and focused on, right? A bit more serious. And are we still in that phase at this moment in time, technically speaking? You know what I'm saying? So that's what we need to focus on for now. And then if there's a slightly more casual video at some point, then we can slot in some additional things, right? But yes, the focus is still on Dylan Rounds. Are other channels maintaining that? Maybe, maybe not. From what Tom Evans said, the Shack Lady supposedly did a live stream last night or so. I didn't check at the time. But the video was removed quickly. Does anyone know about that? Did anyone get to watch the video, the live stream? Your thoughts? Maybe the Shack Lady pops in, she can explain. It's happened a couple of times now, hasn't it? Back to back. But I guess if she's been threatened or people are out there to get her for whatever reason, that might be one of the motives to why you take the video down. Do I feel like all these different channels are getting attacked on different, what do you call it, rotations? Like at one point this person's concentrated on, then the next point this person's concentrated on. Maybe. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the whole food chain situation is, but we put that aside and we focus on the case, and that's really it. Okay? Aside from those standalone messy videos in between, as you know. As little standalone messy videos, you know, do they have stamina? I don't think so. And what happens once you reach that head, the tip of the head? It's going to get very sensitive, okay? How and why? Because of the tools that could be used. Who's talking about tools? What are you even talking about, Raf? Oh, time will tell. Time will tell eventually, okay? But what was another comment someone mentioned last night? Can't remember, was it Robert Berger? I'll probably say his name wrong. The one that leaves lots of comments. I believe he said that Ty Corbin has posted another search video recently. That is incorrect. But I think he was mistaken. What he meant to say was Lance Kelly has uploaded a video recently. I haven't watched it, okay? But it was at Danger Cave, okay? We can even take a look on the maps shortly. We'll probably do that next or soon. Just take a look at the area. I feel like we have had a look at that spot in the past, you know what I'm saying? But how could Lance have done this search if he's away from it all and he's spending weeks, you know, with the cadaver dog? Well, because I've not watched the video yet, there'll probably be like context behind it in the description or the intro of the video or the comment section somewhere. It'll probably provide an explanation. It might have been already recorded footage, pre-recorded footage before he went out and left for the cadaver dog training, and they've just started uploading it now, possibly. So depending your viewpoint on Lance, it's kind of good to see a bit more search footage going on out there, right? And it's at Danger Cave. I feel like maybe the time when we're looking at Wendover, we're looking at the Don Hately and Brenner situation of the spring cleaning, taking the bags down possibly to Wendover, as suggested by Candice Cooley. And I was looking around nearby at possible mine shafts, caves, and this and that. I'm sure Danger Cave may have popped up. I'll see if it shows up on the maps, first of all. Depends. And if it's in the spot I'm thinking of right now, then yes, I have checked it. And then I'm sure there was a photo or two as well. And it was almost in the same exact spot as Lance's video just recent. So that is interesting. Also, shout out to the channel and the member of this channel, No More, for returning. Some of you know who that channel is, okay? So it's good they've popped back in, of course. Good drink. Look, Linda, it's water. I know. You know, I'm really improving, aren't I? Really climbing my way up. I don't know where though. But yeah, I think there's not really much more else to say. If you do want to talk in the chat, you know, give your thoughts, opinions, reactions, and talk about other things in between, feel free to do so. But I think it's time we move on first to that Find Dylan Rouse Facebook post. It's just a very short one. Read through it. And I think it might give a bit of a prediction to what's coming up, and it might tie in line with what Indiana said last night. So it's, I know I've mentioned Indiana's name once again. Don't worry, I'm not picking on you. You're safe, okay? Don't hide under the bed. Let's go on to the Facebook post now and analyse it. Okay, so as you see, 31 minutes ago, this post, it's a very recent, by Connie Marie Windes. Got a bit of wind. She says, I'm new to this. There at one time was a TV show called Disappeared. I don't know if it is still on or not, but there are some other shows like it. Has the parents contacted these kind of shows to see if they could get Dylan's story out there? And if not, why not? So obviously this person's just come on in fresh to the case, trying to make sense of things. It's more the responses down below, right? Alison Bale, says, have you not seen them interviewed? You are new to it, but they are living it. Okay, so a little bit of bitchy behaviour there. And that person says, that wasn't a very twice comment. I guess I mean nice comment. So once again, we're seeing a bit of bitchy behaviour in the community. So if you interpret this way, if you came into the case for the first time ever, okay, and you're trying to question this and that, maybe thinking outside of the box, you can kind of imagine the reception and resistance you would get. I mean, it probably like pitchfork mob and everything, right? Prodding you. But Jazz Girlson says there are things in the works to share Dylan's legacy. As things happen, we will share them here in this group. So the reason why this adds on to what Indiana said is because with this whole big reveal coming up by Candice Cooley, Indiana was suggesting that it's probably more to do with Dylan's legacy or some kind of foundation, some kind of legacy campaign, you know, something along the lines of that's going to be introduced in the name of Dylan Rounds. I mean, we've seen it, heard it before with other cases, other people in other countries, etc., even in the UK, right? Maybe it's because of how a case was handled or how a person was treated or the type of crime that happened and it was unnoticed or overlooked, I should say. You know, that type of stuff. And it's almost like Yaz Gerson is kind of hinting at that right now about Dylan's legacy. And obviously it has shifted with time, right? In the past, it was just about find Dylan. We need to find Dylan, or hopefully he comes home himself. With time, it's transitioned into legacy. So like looking back at the person's life, right? And what they've done, what they've achieved, and all the positives in between. So you can see there's a higher level of acceptance now that Dylan most likely is not alive. But there are still some people out there that believe he is, which, you know, is interesting, right? Maybe there is a big twist somewhere down the line. Obviously, time will tell, of course. But yeah, of course, you can share your thoughts down below to whether you think Dylan is still alive or not. But it's posted by Jazz Girlson saying that we will share them in this group to do with the work of Dylan's legacy. So maybe that's what could pop up next time Candice Cooley does an interview. Maybe it's with the East Idaho News Channel with Ned Eaton. It could be talking about the legacy, because if I think back now, I believe it was the last interview Candice Cooley and Justin Browns did with Ned Eaton on East Idaho News, or it was the one before that when they were talking about Dylan's 20th or 21st birthday. I can't remember which way around it was now. But when it was coming up to Dylan's birthday in 2022, right? I remember Candice Cooley was talking about a bit of a legacy there about Dylan and the seeds and remembering him and stuff. So you can see the process, how it's progressed, and it's still been going strong all this time, right? What else do we have? Kelly Rasmussen. His story is out there. His mom has done everything she can to get his story out. Next time you see a sunflower, think of Dylan. We need to keep this story going. Oh, I mean, as for the YouTube area, it's all under control, right? Even if all the other YouTubers walked away or disappeared, I'm still there covering the case. And humans cannot deny it, because if you simply type it in on the Google search engine and you set the relevancy to today or the last week or the last month, majority of videos that show up will be mine. That's a fact, okay? And there are still some videos to cover, of course, right? So yeah, that was just that little post there. I think we should move on now, probably to the maps, if you're ready for that. Right, so back on the maps, I decided to include the projects from last night, just in case there's any reference points, and it just makes it easier to spot things out in between, right? So, okay, I know some people have said, oh, have we really made progress? Have we really got anywhere? I think we have been able to isolate one feature in the case, and that's the weather, right? Like, this is the thing, what you got to do in these different cases. You got to isolate certain events, certain people, certain times, certain environments. You got to isolate them from one another, then question each one, analyze each one, certain characteristics about that feature, right? Questions and maybe answers followed, right? That's what it's about. And we've done that with the weather. Because the way I see it, with time, okay, the case has been back and forth. Some things have gone forwards in progress and then turn out to be a lie, and then you back to like square one, right? It doesn't help. But in recent time, okay, without all the external squawking from others and whining from some, we've been able to take the weather, the date of it, piece it together and understand, did it truly rain? Yes or no? From different points of views, angles and perspectives. From people who were actually in the area or nearby, right? So whilst you get all these other people doing the fancy little interviews and flops and stuff and over talking one another, on a natural scale, people were able to successfully reach out, residents of Montello, for example, and talk about the weather itself over this way, right? Sure, it's away from Lucin. There is a time zone difference by like an hour, if I'm correct in saying. But at the end of the day, it just reinforces that possibility of rain, right? May have started in Montello to begin with, then transferred over into Lucin. We've seen it with the snow, right? Trying to think which photo it was now. Was it in November? Yeah, I think it was November 2022 when Candice Cooley paid a visit down to Dylan's farm. It might have been during the time of the winter final big push, around that time. I remember Candice Cooley took a photo. It might have been of the pivot and then the surrounding area, looking the mountains, which would go into Montello on the other side of the border, right? And you didn't see really any snow. It was all dry and it looked warm visually. And you're thinking, oh, that's strange. Because recently, when I saw Lance Kelly's video, or maybe Scott Natal's, it was a blizzard. It was snowy. It was pure white. Okay, it looked rough. This is the thing. There is a difference in weather, a little bit difference in temperature, or there's a bit of delay in which Lucin receives whatever from what Montello previously experienced. That's a factor to take in mind, right? Seems to be the case. Maybe not to the extremity as what I said about like pure snow winter wipeout. Not quite like that, but it does come, right? The other factor that needs to be taken into mind, and Ellenberg did highlight it, was sometimes when you're on these peaks, these points, whether it be the mountain area here, and you're surrounded, right? Should we do a photo? Why not? Let's just do that one. No, actually, no. I think we've used this one too often. Yeah, we have. We need to do a bit more of an extreme one. Give me a second. Zoom out for a second. There we go. Which one should I zoom? That one. Give me a second. See the snow in the mountain there at that time. You look at the land, right? I believe that's the Lucin side, and over that way is the Montello side. So like when Ellenberg was saying previously, I think last night in the comment section of the live chat, was that when you're higher up on these points, you can see little storm clouds here, there, everywhere. It's not all in one spot. It doesn't cover everything, but it's in certain areas, right? I mean, you would get it just like if you're out somewhere and then you start walking into rain and then eventually you walk out of it and then it stops, right? But that rain cloud does pass over. So you could be on the phone to someone, a family member or a friend, and they're saying, oh, we're getting storms here, thunder and lightning, and that will eventually come over to you, providing you within kind of the same area or so, it passes. So, there's a bit of a delay, the timing, right? Could that be a factor which impacts whether Dylan's seed's wet or not? True. But what it at least highlights is that it seems that it did rain at least sometime on Saturday throughout the day, right? May have come and gone. So that's from the eyes, the perspective of the people in Montello over that way. So that's good. It is helpful, it is useful having people, present in the area to be able to recall the weather at the time, the actual day. It's somewhat relevant, right? And then to be able to back it up even more from the perspective of these campers, these hikers out there who are actually in Lucin, who documented it raining between 5 and 6, or in the early hours at least, right? 5 and 6 is kind of early hours of the morning, arguably speaking, right? So, yeah. I mean, for them to say it was raining in Lucin on that day around the early hours, they must have still been there, right? Makes sense, because if they've stopped there overnight, they'll be in the tent sleeping, they'll wake up in the early hours of the morning or so, whether they're disrupted by the weather or they just waking up early type people, and then they see what they see, right? And I guess Dylan did as well. As Tom Evans saying, there was one report or so of Dylan supposedly being stressed. Don't know if that's 100% confirmed, more of a rumour. But just makes me think though, that if it was already raining, is it too late for the grain truck? I mean, I guess the only thing you can say is that from what the family have said when they went down to the farm to check out the grain truck and to check out everything, the seeds weren't damaged. That there was no mention of that. They were not disrupted. They were not messed with. They were okay. So maybe Dylan got lucky with the rain. But even if you put aside how the truck could have been impacted because of the weather, you think of other vehicles too, and movement, right? What I do want to say is, if Dylan used to walk back to his farm, right, in the past, was that through rain, sunshine, and any other weather in between? Or did certain weather and temperature dictate how he went back? You know what I'm saying? About 5 miles of walking through the rain, you get wet, you get cold, uncomfortable, might get a cold, it's not great, is it? If it's sunny, warm, You can take at your own pace. There's no rush. It's a bit more calm and relaxing, right? So, depending how much it rained on the day and whether it rained any more later on, could that have encouraged Dylan to maybe get a lift back or attempt to get a lift back? Because that was a theory we introduced at some point, but maybe that lift ended up turning out wrong, when unexpectedly a different outcome. Okay, I don't know if it was Christy, maybe some others was suggesting that this rain and the grain truck, maybe Dylan wasn't even going to park it there on the day and he was going elsewhere. Some other people talking in the background, saying it was parked there but maybe a day earlier or something. It's just little theories and ideas, nothing groundbreaking, but it does make you think in a way. But the next factor when it comes to weather is the person or people that disposed of Dylan Rounds, right? Would that have changed the direction of where Dylan could be placed? If it's already rained on the day, does it make it easier or harder to dig out a hole in the ground? What's your thoughts on that? If it was to do with taking Dylan to a wash, if it's already wet, does that make it easier, harder? You know what I'm saying? Because if the weather can impact when searches take place, such as with winter, with the coldness, the hard ground, which has prevented people from searching properly in between, then I'm sure the same can happen as if you're in a situation of disposing of something or someone. It might prevent you from going to a spot you wanted to go to, right? It's just a thought. And the only other thing what I would say is, if the weather really did play a factor on the day of where Dylan should be taken to, maybe a temporary location was put in place. And at a later point or the following day after, Dylan was removed but elsewhere. That's another possibility, right? Yes, we've seen how vast and wide and open this land and area is. On a side note, what I do want to add in from what's been said with time, this pivot here is not Dylan Round's pivot. That's what's been said by people with time, okay? The only reason why at one point I thought it was Dylan Round's pivot was because down here it looked like a leak, and it looked like the same or similar pattern to the leak of a photo taken by Candice Cooley at the pivot of Dylan Rounds. So that's just what made me think. Now, closer inspection, I don't know if there's like a little water holder or a bucket. And even if it's a completely different pivot, as people have said, pivots sometimes are a bit hard to maintain. It's a constant battle. It can leak here and there. So it's not just Dylan's that's problematic. It seems to be others. Okay. It is interesting though, that time when we did look at this equipment, the trailers, there are two of them. But the truck itself looks more black and not red. So it couldn't have been Dylan's, right? I guess that's another thing just to highlight. Just worth looking at. Lucin Airport. Remember when we looked at these photos, 2023 by Sterling Bingham. Christopher Lloyd, Weezer, anyone in the chat right now, have you ever heard of this guy called Sterling Bingham? Was there a reason why he visited Lucin Airport and met up with Ivor Zodowski? 2023, January. Is there any explanation behind it? Just intrigued, right? That's 2020. 2023, no snow. 2023 with snow. I think someone said this was probably taken in 2022, but uploaded in 2023. That is definitely a possibility, right? Because look, with the Kenny Veach case, you know, okay, Kenny Veach uploaded his video 2014, like November or something. Well, it's like the last video was 2014, but it wasn't November. That's when he went missing. It was like maybe September, or maybe a month before that as well. But it was like Okay, yeah, can he upload this video? And what, he went missing right after? No, that's not the case. You know, he would have been able to record whilst he was out there, able to get back successfully to be able to upload the video, right? And then fast forward maybe a few weeks later or a month later, that's when he went out on that unrecorded hike and went missing supposedly, right? So that's the thing, when you see something uploaded online, don't mean to say it's 100% brand new. Like, even at times when people may have uploaded a photo of their face online and it's like, okay, that could be from 5-6 years ago, you never know. So, always got to be cautious, of course. Is there any additional updates from this though? Did we ever find much else out? Well, I'll have to open up a new tab, but if we click on the profile of Sterling Bingham, it reveals a little bit more. We are on Google Maps, and you can see his profile, Sterling Bingham, 81 points. I don't know what that exactly means. I think the points are literally points, like what you'd get in a video game, from the looks of it. And I think it was explained in a past video when we were taking a look at Montello and the places reviewed, from like the bar to the bar and grill, saddle saw bar, the gas station. Remember those reviews on Google Maps? People rating it out of 5 stars. Some people saying it was a good place, others saying it was closed, wrong place, wrong time, etc., etc. It was actually the time in that video where we actually saw Les Nuttall, the brother of Scott Nuttall, leave a comment and a review about the Cowboy Bar and Grill, which was interesting. Didn't expect to see his name pop up. And I think he was talking about Kurt Wadsworth. Interesting, right? Might have to take a look back at that. But let me just add some point in now. If it is true that, because I'm just using it from my memory. I'm sure Les Nuttall talked about Kurt Wadsworth and said, oh yeah, nice guy, great. Do you remember seeing any footage of Scott Nuttall, Les Nuttall meeting up with Kurt Wadsworth? Did anyone know about that? Like, behind the scenes, quiet little meeting? Interesting. Not seen that. Because, like, the other, like, meetups with Kurt in some way, physically, virtually, you've seen it online, you've seen it documented, right? Interviews, live streams, etc., etc. So this being a bit more private, I wonder what conversations took place. Makes you think, right? But linking back to Sterling Bingham, okay? You see these like markers on the right-hand side of this map, majority of it being situated Salt Lake City and I think Ogden. So maybe that's where the person lives. You click on the points, it doesn't seem to respond or do anything, which is a bit annoying. Okay, how far can we zoom in? Hightower Apartments, is that what he was reviewing? Oh, House of Hearing aid shop. So Sterling visited a hearing aid shop. Okay, okay. What about in Ogden, around this area? Where else did he visit? Oh, we got a dental place. Richard and Brown PC. Computers? Or what's this? Courtney Tillerston Mortgage Loan Officer. Okay. And what are the other ones nearby? Clinton as well. We've heard of those areas before. Tyre shop. Okay. Sterling Tyre shop. What's this one? Charlie's Service Centre. So I don't know if this was all done in one day or not. But no harm checking. And Health Pharmacy. So he's been a bit busy, right? See, it's on the left. Went to Tellica, Ogden. And I think this is his comment left, maybe. Revolutionised the image industry. Got me scheduled same week. Got me in within 5 minutes of appointment time. Let's get a CT scan. Okay. Angry Pumpkin Off-Road. Oh, God. Sterling Bingham visiting Mr. Pancakes. Angry Pumpkin. Oh, God. Sounds a bit uncomfortable. This place was quick and professional. You sure about that? Even took care of some corroded fasteners for me. I recommend APO for all our performance suspension dampener Raymond needs. Raymond Noodles. Academy. Lucin Airport. There you go. That's where the photo's from. You see a little bit of backstory. And what does Sterling have to say? Ivo is the best. Why is he the best? His attitude, his behaviour. Why did you go and meet Ivor Zadovsky? How did you know he was there? Was it just visiting, a tourist? Was it family related? Was it a meet-up, some kind of catch-up? You know, is there any purpose or linkage to Dylan Rounds? Has anyone actually interviewed Ivor Zadovsky? Has anyone tried reaching out to him? Do any of the Montello locals know about Ivo? Let me know your thoughts down below if you've ever heard of his name, if you've ever seen him in town or nearby. It's just weird because, like, okay, supposedly not in the area at the time, but he has been around other times, right? Does he live there right now? I don't think so. I think people said he moved elsewhere to a different hangar further afar. But still, he was present at some point. You may have seen Dylan, maybe. But it's just, you know, like the procedure, right? Considering there's not many people in Lucin, you'd think, really, the only people that are present in Lucin, they should all be interviewed and extensively covered in some way, but it's fallen through. You know, even Don Hately kind of faded off with time, right? And he was like a local at the time, and he was also working for Dylan at some point. He's also best friends with Brenner. You know, a strong, solid links there, right? May know something. Arguably, I'll be honest, more focus, more suspicion has been aimed and concentrated towards Kurt Wadsworth more than the likes of Don Hately, I would say. And although Kurt Wadsworth's a bit dodgy, my personal opinion, I focus more on Don Hately than Kurt Wadsworth. Okay? Let me know your thoughts about that. But yeah, saying Ivo's the best. Oh, ENT Centre of Utah, 2 stars. Was just curious. Your website says that you are an AERD specialist, yet when I called, the woman that answered said you don't do that kind of work. Was just curious, if you don't address Samter's triad issues, could you refer to someone that does? Okay. Charlie Service Centre, the team at Charlie's. Yeah, simply awesome. Okay. Any additional photos? Well, there is some there, 2 actually. How do we get a hold of them? Lucin Airport, yeah, okay. And what's the other photo there? Lake Bonneville Guardian. Okay, well, we'll try and see if that photo pops up very shortly. Oh, there's a photo there, isn't there? Right, we'll check that out. We'll be able to get a hold of that back on Google Earth, I feel. Yes, we will. Let's head back over. Okay, so here we are. We found it. Lake Bonneville Guardian, historical landmark in Utah. Let's take a look at it. There's no harm in doing so. Jeremy Shaw. Okay, this looks a little bit interesting. So, well, as you got the surrounding landscape, you got this almost like, what, totem pole, almost? You got a fish, followed by a bear holding the fish, followed by Jim Brenner. Or that Captain Birdseye? Not quite sure. And then there's a split down the middle, so I don't know if someone's used an axe on it or not. But yeah, interesting to see something like that. Is what I mean. You get these weird monuments, architects, pieces of art within the Utah desert. And it makes you think, who put it there and why? Because if not many people do pass it, see it, how are they going to know about it? Unless it's advertised online somewhere, besides Google Earth. You know what I'm saying? Because we have come across some weird, wacky stuff, okay? I'm just waiting for the day. We're looking through Google Earth, we look through the photos, and then next thing you know, someone in the chat has appeared in a photo online. Who exactly? Ooh, I don't know. Anything's possible, right? Number 2, yeah, that's by a different guy. Eric Romero. My God, that looks like Heavy D. Okay. Yeah, there's a different angle. There we go, Sterling Bingham. So he's been about. He's been to the airport of Lucin. He's also been down here at the lake. So I guess he's just visiting the area. But what encourages people to go to Lucin Airport? Like, if you think about it, just think about it like this. People have said that Ivor Zadovsky no longer lives in Lucin. And yet that photo, which was uploaded 2023 in January, Ivor was still there from the looks of it, right? So has he gone or hasn't he? Or has he just left recent? Makes you think. What vehicle is this anyway? What does that say? I can't quite make that out. BF Goodrich. What vehicle is this? What make? Not quite sure. Is it a Ram? It's red. It's not Dylan's truck though. Okay. Yeah. Off-road tyres. Chunky. There you go. There's another shot. And there's another shot. God, must be obsessed with that pole. Yeah, actually, to be honest, when you think about it, we're talking about we need a pole for pole dancing. This looks like just the right one. Okay, aside from a few splinters, sore hands, this is the type of pole I could do pole dancing on. The only problem is, it's a little bit far away. What a shame. Guess there's no pole dancing today. Let's click that off for now. So will that remain, that marker, if I just zoom out? How far away is it? Not too far away, to be honest, from where the campers were at on the 27th, Dylan's Farm, Grangeshed. It's just down here. In terms of the distance, okay? Somewhere like that. Oh, shit. Somewhere there, right? It's only a rough one. About 14, 15 miles, if you just roughly say it. Which is a fair bit. Especially if you're going to walk it, it would take some time, but if you're in a vehicle, it's not that bad. What I will do just very quickly now is just measure the distance from Dylan's farm to Sun Tunnels, okay? Just for the people that may be interested, because we were tying it back in with the weather on the 28th, right? How long would it have took Dylan to get from here to there, right? Because that does play a role. It provides a bit of timestamp understanding, okay? And if there was any wet weather, it might have sped him up. You might have reacted quicker. So, from here, all the way down to like Sun Tunnels, it's roughly, round it up, about 5 miles, right? 5 miles from Dylan's Farm to Sun Tunnels, okay? Then up to the Grangeshed, roughly speaking, which is, well, actually, hold on. Round that up. So from Dylan's Farm to Sun Tunnels to the gate, it's about 5.95 miles. Then past that to the actual Grangeshed, about 6.70 miles. Okay? Not too bad, to be fair, especially if you're in a vehicle. Now, I can't think of it on the spot in my head, but it was about like a 6.70 mile journey in a vehicle. How long will that take? I know some people, without knowing the distance in the last video, said it could be like a 10-15 minute drive, possibly. I'd possibly agree with that, yeah. I guess it depends what vehicle you drive in. I guess it depends the terrain and weather on the day. You know, if it was snowy and icy, you'd be going slower, but that didn't seem to be the case with Dylan. Though, if it was wet, maybe it was a bit slippy. You know, you never know. So there's the distance for you. As for the distance from Grangeshed to the farm, if Dylan was to walk back that way, it is about 5 miles, right, roughly speaking. But exactly which route was taken, because, you know, the way I did that marker goes right across that wash, and the wash comes down here. Well, actually, no, there's that like road there, which is like a dirt road. So, if Dylan in the past was known to walk back from Grangeshed to his farm, did that mean crossing through the wash? That doesn't seem like a practical idea, in a way. I mean, if it's dry, but is it practical? I'm sure, I don't know where I've heard it from now, but I think, I don't know if it was another channel saying how if you used to walk back to the farm, It's quicker doing that than driving on the main dirt road back. So that puts it into a little bit of perspective, right? But yeah, let me know if there's any other areas you would like to see covered. I'm not going to do it now because it needs to be its own independent video, but I do remember Linda saying she wanted kind of like a brief summary of all key known places in Lucin, or at least the ones that have been up for discussion. And yeah, we can still do that, of course. It might not be the 100% complete one, but I'll just base it off from what I know of and what I've heard with time. Okay. Is there any other places to check? You know, if we're basing off that trend, that theme of what about possible new photos uploaded? Well, what about Devil's Playground? You know what? I'm surprised what they've not done. I'm surprised they've not uploaded their own photos of the area. Do you like if Ty Corbyn or Lance Kelly has been here, there, everywhere, or even just volunteers? I'm surprised no one has uploaded their own photos to spread awareness in that way. You know what I'm saying? I think it only happened once, and that was it. And where are those photos anyway? That's so weird. Right, what the hell? I swear, when we looked at Devil's Playground last time, when I clicked on it, there was actual photos to look at. And yet this time there isn't. Why is that? Well, I mean, you've got the dots, but I'm definitely confident that there was a list of images we could search through. And yet we've got this. Bovine Mountains. And the vehicle back down there. But why is Devil's Playground not showing any photos? Because it did last time. That's where it showed that Dylan Round's missing person poster, and now there's no photos. You know, that's what makes me a bit confused at times. Why does it just disappear? Nothing. Rocky Pass Peak. No images there. It's stupid, isn't it? Etna. No images there. Urda. Ogden. No, we're going too far off now. Grouse Creek. That's the only one of Grouse Creek. An abandoned building which looks a bit dodgy. I mean, not saying it literally is the case, but if people have said Grouse Creek is a place of interest and you got an abandoned building like this, maybe Dylan could have been held captive somewhere like this. Now, this photo was in 2017, so it's not up to date, but you get what I'm saying. It was a suitable place to chain Dylan up, tie him up. Whether he's alive or not to this day, that's another question. If you have just joined right now, we're just doing a bit of conversations to do with the weather of Lucin at the time of Dylan went missing, maybe the day before. And we're also just checking back at locations which may or may not have been updated with new photos, right? I just think it would have been more practical if people did. Like even Bald Eagle Mountain. Upload your own photos, just provide a point of view of the area. We can try Montello as well. I guess there's no harm. Has anyone uploaded any new photos since? God, these are old. 2017. Wait, Adam Blythen, that's not Ron Teller, is it? He looks similar. Why do all the people look the same with the beards? This is the place. Cowboy Bar Cafe. Yeah. Anyway. Any named places? Church of... Nope, that doesn't show much. Was there anything else to add in? Yes. Just to add in from what the locals have said just recently, as for recent conversations. We just plonk it there. So, from what's been said, not Cowboy Bar and Grill, Saddle Saw Bar has been closed for over 3 months now. So in a contrast to when Candice Cooley said that the sales in the area have been boosted by 500%, clearly that's not the case if the likes of, Saddle Saw Bar has been closed for 3 months. You might be wondering why though? Why is that the case? Why would people suddenly not want to go inside of it? Well, from what from what Weezer said last night, who's Montello local or so, because of how Kurt Wadsworth has spoken to people over time in a negative tone, complaining, maybe being a little bit verbally aggressive, whether that be because of stress of Dylan's disappearance or him being accused or him feeling like he is being watched. He's taken it out, I guess, maybe on the wrong people. And because of that, people have responded by, I guess, just blanking him, not visiting, not going to the place. What I do want to say right now in the chat, if people haven't gone to Saddle Sore Bar, have they instead gone to Cowboy Bar and Grill up the road instead? Is that what's happened? Have you seen maybe a boost in sales in the other place rather than Saddle Sore? Makes you think. And as well, while Saddle Sore Bar is closed, what's going on inside? Any dodgy activity? If it's locked up, nothing to see here, no one visiting, what is there any activity going on inside? Yes or no? Just a thought, okay? But yeah, just is there any other named locations? Any new photos? Nope. No harm checking in. How did I find photos last time though? Because you see how there's like some named locations which you can click on, and then there's other locations that won't respond. Hoppy Creek. Like if I typed in, hopefully it's not going to spaz out this. Nevada, Montello. Yes. Saddle Sore Bar. Oh. This one. I just want to see if, yeah, you see this? It says Saddle Sore Bar, but when I zoomed in before, it didn't come up as a named place. You have to manually type it in at times. That's what I find silly. And then you get a different set of photos to what we've just seen before. Okay? So, doesn't seem to be any updates here. Not at all. But it was worth just searching. And we type in the Cowboy Bar and Grill as well. Cowboy. Oh, there we go. It just showed up there. And then you do get other situations where the likes of that Area 52 bar, near Pilot Road or something, that isn't a named place when you try zooming in on the area, nor is it a named place when you actually manually type it in. So you do miss out. What's this one? 2021. Have we actually seen photos of this before? We may have done. I guess there's no harm in looking, right? Do you want a narration? I guess we can narrate it as we just go along. I've not done it for a while. Do you know what? If it is a repeat, I'll speed up, but some of these images I don't think I've seen before. So, well, Cowboy Bar and Cafe. I'm just walking right now. I mean, to be honest, it looks all right, that. I mean, what are those, like, potato munchy things and a lot of white stuff? There's a lot of iceberg on that. Ellenberg being very generous with the iceberg lettuce. Wow. And a lot of white substance as well. Interesting. Yeah, we have seen this before. Yeah, we have. Okay. But you got the slot fuck off. You got the slot machines there. Only 2 of them. Same with the Saddle Sore Bar. And then you obviously got all this. Of course, we've got the mystery machine, which is ironic. Just very quickly right now, as for people watching, the Montello locals, on the left-hand side, that, what is it called? Polaris, that little off-road buggy. Who does that belong to? Anyone in the area? Because it looks similar to someone's. But then again, they probably all got one, or a few of them have. And have any of you, Weezer, have you seen the mystery machine park up before? Have you ever seen it? Let me know. This is the thing, when we talk about the Memorial Day weekend, that barbecue, that the get-together celebration, look at all these people gathering here. You know what I'm saying? You look at them, all different ages as well, of course. Now, are these people that live in the area? To me, it doesn't seem like it. I think these are visiting, family of family. Let me know your thoughts. And also, Weezer or Ellenberg in the chat. Is there anyone here you know of? Anyone that stands out to you? Have you seen these people's faces before or not? You don't have to say anything, but like a little nod of acknowledgement. 2021. I don't remember seeing this photo though. Got some hay. Yeah. Just seeing if there's anything out of the ordinary, anything that stands out, you know, no harm. Why does it not let me move on? There you go. You got another burger. Okay, salad on the side. Is it fresh enough? I guess so. Burger looks reasonable. It's overhanging a little bit, but yeah. I mean, you know, are you impressed by these burgers, Ellenberg? Or do you think you can do a better job? Let me know. Montello sign. Yeah. 2020, 2018, Curly National Grassland. Yeah, we saw that one. This is 2022. Yep. Yeah, I remember that one. Just wanted to see if there's anything new. Oh my God, I don't remember seeing this photo. By Deborah Howland Brown. Oh yeah, Deborah Brown, she was getting about a bit in terms of multiple accounts. Yeah, I don't remember seeing this. Oh, Montello. Ellenberg, are you hiding something? You secretly hiding all of those towels, yeah? Oh no. Oh no. Weezer, we got a problem. I've just realised. You see that towel? Yeah, even that one or the one on the left draped down. My God, that's a towel we saw when Ellenberg was wearing in Bellavy's video. Oh God. Oh my God, Ellenberg, what have you been up to, man? And it's interesting though, because look how, I don't know, the sink looks very clean and modern in contrast to the town of Montello. Is this definitely Montello or is this a completely different area? It just stands out. Not much toilet paper left. You're a bit fucked there. And then, wait, hold on. This is Why is Motel 6 getting into Montello? Look, you got the Motel 6 little package there. Look, branded. I don't think this is Montello, but someone's uploaded it as it is in Montello. Okay, a little bit dodgy there, but there you go. And then you've got the image of that 2022. Okay, so there's really not much updates regarding that. If there's any other named places to look at, then yeah, that would be worthwhile. Why don't we just type in Danger Cave? I don't know if it will actually show up. Danger Cave, so more like Danger Dolan. Wendover, oh, is this what I'm thinking? Danger Cave, fucking hell, how many are there? I think it's that one. Yeah, this is the one. Yes, boom. Right, this is the exact place we looked at in the past. Just so happened to indirectly lead to Lance Kelly visiting this place later on. Now, what was he doing here? I mean, this is what you've got to try and understand. You look at Lance Kelly's channel, in recent time, it's become more of a family vlogging channel, right? Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, people will like that. But you see the transition. I mean, it might not be permanent, but you've seen the transition where it's gone from searching for Dylan Rounds to the transition of searching for a missing person, but not including the name. That might have been down to laying low to avoid resistance from Candice Cooley. Then it transitioned to searching for Dylan Rounds, Susan Powell, and Tommy Novak, and someone else as well. And in recent time, it's transitioned to trip to Hoddle Waddle Zoo, part 1, part 2, part 3. You know what I'm saying? Then there was another one to do with recovering a vehicle, some kind of recovery thing. Maybe Lance Kelly got some video ideas from Heavy D recovery type stuff, right? And then the recent one was Danger Cave, searching for Dylan Rounds. Now, this is not coming from me, but you look at the area, Danger Cave, how nearby it is to Wendover and the main highway. You see how nearby it is. You're going to get witnesses. If Dylan was buried here, taken down here, I think, people may have seen something. And as Brenner said, well, Candice Cooley said Brenner doesn't go near highways or drive on them. So you'd be staying away from detection by general public, right? So, you know, by including searching for Dylan Rounds in the title, whilst that is a valid thing and, it may have been done in the past, is the title just being used now for unrelated searches? You know what I'm saying? So you'd still tag along the correct audience. I mean, well, this is the thing. When I've done videos, discussion ones, and it's to do with Dylan Rounds, I try and make it as valid as possible and link it as best as I can, because if there truly is no link whatsoever, then one can't use the title. It just wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be right. But let's just take a look at the area itself. We got two, actually. Don't know why there's two different ones. Danger Cave State Historical Monument. So I believe this was actually in Lance Kelly's recent video, if you want to check it out, talking about the layers of ancient history. Now, yeah, as a vlog video, you go in there to check it out and share it with the general public who may not be able to get there and stuff. But if you include Dylan Rounds, do you think Dylan Rounds is actually at a historical monument? A tourist attraction? It just sounds a bit dodgy to me. What does it say? Here you are. Oh, great. Some about geology and stuff. Oh my god. No way. Early archaic arrowhead tip. Oh my god, Wes. I don't give a flying fuck what you're doing right now, Wes. You need to get your ass down here in your fucking chariot of fire and start digging up, using a metal detector and find these arrowheads, because it's all pointing to this direction, Wes. Get your ass down here right now. But yeah, on a more serious note, do we really need to read it? No, because we're trying to figure it out. Like, look at this, okay? It might go into a certain depth, but it looks like it's caged off. Though, I mean, that's on the inside and that's on the outside. You must, like, walk through it like a passageway or something. But, when you look at something like this, do you honestly think Dylan Rounds is going to be buried here? Very unlikely. Right? I mean, you look at that and you think, oh, it goes in a bit, goes a bit dark. Maybe you could drag Dylan down there. But there's other people visiting. It's just, it's just going to reveal it. But to be honest, what the hell is this person doing? What is going on here? Is that a camera? Wait, what? Hold on. Is that a walkie-talkie or an EVP? That down there resting on the rock. What is that? It's got like a thing sticking out of it and black. And then what's on the ground? These like little mats, pads. And then what's that? Photos, images propped up. And then is that a camera? An old camera maybe? I'm not quite sure what this whole thing is, but there's like rope going across, I guess, preventing you from going any further. A little bit weird, that. And you got the outside, kind of rocky, but still, don't think Dylan would be down here. I know it's that argument of, oh, Dylan's not down here, but, there's no harm in checking. Yeah, I get that as well, but, you've also got to be somewhat practical and use common sense, right? You're not going to be thinking that, oh yeah, Dylan is buried in Antarctica or something. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be thinking that. Naming a cave. Archaeologist Robert Heiser first investigated this cave in 1937. The opening was choked. For a low tunnel, earning its name, Hands and Knees Cave. Oh my god, Bella V. You gotta get on your hands and knees. E.R. Smith began the first extensive excavation, I should have said, of this site. Excavating party. No injuries resulted, but it led to the abandonment of Smith's work and inspired the name Danger Cave. Okay, so a bit messy from the looks of it. It says, because of the large rock laying on the ground beside you, it broke free from the lip of the entrance, narrowly missing the party. So that's why it's danger. Oh, Linda. Oh, Linda's been busy taking photos here. Got some graffiti, of course, which, no surprise, people will do that. Because, this is the thing, you're in the middle of deserts and you think, oh yeah, it's quiet out here, no one's going to come down. And you still find all this, graffiti spread about. Does anyone or has anyone watched? Oh, what's that? Oh, I forgot that night. No, I just can't even talk now. What was that guy? Exploring Area 51 or something? Area 51 Adventures? Adventures with Christian. Does anyone remember that channel? Is there anyone in the chat right now that has watched Adventures with Christian? Because, you know, he was in Nevada, Las Vegas, going out there, looking about. But then when the pandemic came around, he stopped going out searching like for Area 51 stuff and abandoned places in the desert. He stopped. Fast forward afterwards that, I think he started uploading political videos and small short clips. It was kind of weird. You know, what happened? You know, if it wasn't for that pandemic, the lockdown, what would have happened instead? Carried on searching, looking for abandoned stuff, places. And like even with Ewu Crew, obviously they've changed with time, but there was a point where the original Ewu Crew Explore With Us returned with their own new channel, but I've not been able to find it since because I think it's been taken down. What's caused that? Does anyone know? Weird. Okay. Got this one here. I'm just showing it just so you get an idea of what the area looks like. Okay, that's all. Naming a cave, yep, we saw that. Yeah, we saw that. It's dark within. But no matter how dark or deep it could be, it's unlikely Dylan's there. I mean, you got some trucks parked up, people visiting the area. You look in the distance. Is that a farm? Can't quite tell. Okay, that's about it. Wasn't the other one up this way? Has that got additional images as well? Looks like the case. I mean, this thing, you get plotted in the desert, dumped somewhere. You look around, you think, am I in Nevada? Am I in Lucin, Utah? I don't know, because, you know, if you're not familiar with the actual mountains and points, it all looks the same, to be honest, right? So could you throw that concept in of dehydration, being confused, walking through the desert, not knowing where you are? Maybe. Does that apply to Dylan? I think some people have tried applying it in the past, but it's kind of fallen flat. Even the people that have gone out there searching have been all right. From what I know of, not much has gone wrong. Does anyone know if anyone has tried going out there searching for Dylan and not come back? Has that happened at all? Let me know if you know. Okay, got that one there. Oh, look at that. Down there. That's a bit dodgy. Is that from the past, or is that modern? I don't know. Information board, maybe? Huh. You got that there. Yep. What's that on the ground there? Yep. Oh, what we're looking into now, a little gap. A few lights on the wall. JD it says there. Yeah, it's weird that down there. And that's still there, that little, what, EVP recorder thing? I don't know what that is. It's weird. And stones going across, maybe that's to prevent people from parking or driving up there, maybe. Well, there you go, that just gives you the little perspective of that area. Is there any other locations that need to be talked about? Well, if I can on the spot, it's not a guarantee. Where was that? There's like black holes, not like an actual black hole. Was it these here? Oh, that's hard to find. What I want to know is, what happened with that whole discussion about the chop shops? You know, that scrapyard east of Dylan's place. What happened with that? Did it just fade out into discussion? Not become relevant anymore? Is that the military base? Yeah, I believe so. Do you have any images of the military base or any areas nearby? You got that road there, a little portion of it. Is that restricted land or not? I don't know. Not from the looks of it. It looks very dull and bleak. Oh, what does that sign say? Can we get to it or not? Let's see, it's got like lights on. Oh god, it's so blurry. That's so stupid. What does that say? Must have been taken a while ago for the quality to be this bad. Attention. Can't quite make it out what it says. A little bit more forwards. I assume that's to do with attention. Up this way is maybe to the military base, possibly. Must be. I mean, for the person to drive up this way so far, it's a bit, you know, dodgy. How far does this go, anyway? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Whoa, this got a bit dark quick, didn't it? Right, so this looks like the boundary for that, maybe, is it military base? The one in Lucin? Because it, you know, you see the fencing going across with the signs on and warnings. Runs all the way up there. Runs all the way down that way as well, as you see. And yet there's no gate. Literally no gate. Even Area 51 had a gate or some kind of post going across. I mean, it's probably one of those things, common sense, don't drive past it. It's a bit lighter there, you can see the signs and the fences that go over the mountain area. Same down there. Interesting. So, it was brave of the person to come all the way up here, because then it has backfired with time, right? Who is the other crew? What was it? Adventures with Us? Chris? What's his name? Chris? I don't know. You remember that the father and son that went on motorbikes around the US and then even went to Area 51, one of the gates, and stepped over the line, and then the military came along and then told him off, and then fast forward, they supposedly got arrested or something, spent time in jail maybe, and then the son returned back, did a little video vlog, and he appeared to change in behaviour and attitude, and was like saying, oh yeah, this area which was so cool to go to and we did all our videos, yeah, don't go there now, you know, there's nothing to see. And it's like, what's happened to them? You know, what changed them? Seemed a little bit odd, a little bit suspicious. You know what I'm saying? It does make you think. Like, I know focus is on Dylan, but just because, you know, with the area we're situated in, the environment, the terrain, similarities shared there, military bases if present, boundaries, lines, trespassing, all these like little key words and factors does make you think or remind you of something from the past, or maybe something you've watched, you've seen, something on YouTube, right? Like, do you know what I want to know? Okay. What about, you know, is there old, and I don't mean really old, I mean like maybe 2008, 2015, 2017 would be better, 2018 would be good, footage of Lucin or Montello? Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not really searched. I'll probably have to do that myself. But let me know your thoughts. Like, not so much looking back at the build-up of Dylan going missing, but more so, what was it truly like there at the time? We'll get into that shortly. We definitely will. But yeah, if we just like briefly refer back to the weather and the discussion, from the looks of it, confirmed by Montello locals, the 28th, it did rain in Montello, and it was quite heavy rain. And then possibly, with time, same day, it rained. I mean, the campers, witnesses, said it did, right? Early hours of the morning or so. This is what I would say, at least, okay? if the campers and witnesses who were literally there at the time and saw Dylan in action, supposedly, the night before, if you can't believe what they say, then can you really believe anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, we go through like a hierarchy, a tier list of who's, most likely of person to believe in, whether it be talking about Brenner, talking about Kurt Wadsworth, talking about Don Hately. Who else is there out there that may have witnessed those guys, interacted with them at some point in the past, talked to them, overheard a conversation? Not many, right? When it comes to Dylan, only really Dylan that would know these individual characters, these guys, what they're like, because Dylan would have interacted with them at some point. And of course, probably right at the end as well. You know what I'm saying? So, whilst all the answers could come from Dylan, Dylan's not present right now to be able to answer, and may never be present to answer, with not being alive. So you gotta look to the second most important person, or the second person who would know something, right? And maybe with time it's been, let's look at Candice Cooley, let's look up to her. And that is a normal thing to do. You like, it's like common sense, right? Family member. But because she doesn't live out there, she lives elsewhere, in Idaho, I think Hazleton, she's not going to know everything that happens, what goes down currently, in the past, at the time of Dylan going missing. So she can only go from what she's been told, right? By police, by FBI, and maybe if anyone has reached out to her at some point. So really, you have to rely and look to locals of the area or nearby, such as Montello, of course, which I think we're doing right now, like in these videos, of course. Or if anyone was temporarily there, like a witness, as described recently with those campers and revealing the location of where they were at, Little Pigeon Mountain. So if these campers who were in the area at the time said it was raining, then it was raining. You know what I'm saying? If you think that these people, these witnesses, are lying, I mean, it's not a problem if you think that, because, the way the case has gone and trust issues, I understand. But if to this degree that you think these people are lying as well who are in the area, then really there is literally no one else you could listen to or believe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you've got this evidence, followed by that evidence, followed by that proof. How much more do you need convincing that this happened? I was talking vaguely then, because that can apply to anything, any situation. Like, the only other person you could look up to and listen to and believe would be Dylan Rounds, but he's not there, so you got to go to the next best person, right? And sometimes the next best person isn't always the one you'd expect the most, right? The other thing to re-highlight, when we talk about witnesses, whether it be directly here or maybe the ones that were more so in Montello, over this way. Sorry about the drag. Right? In this area here. Close by or further afar. Why is it spazzing out like a complete twat? Okay. The reason why there's high chances of witnesses, people in the area, maybe passers-by, people visiting, is because it's Memorial Day weekend, get together, it's special events, people are coming in, you're going to have heavy traffic compared to other times, right? So if more people are coming and going in between, anything that does happen, more chance of people seeing that stuff, right? Okay. But what I do want to say is, Memorial Day, the weekend, what? When did it exactly begin? Friday night, or literally Saturday following into Sunday? If that's the case, even if it started Friday and then Saturday, Sunday, what about the 25th? Because this is where it came from. When I was talking about the 25th of May, where Dylan Rounds came face to face with Chase Ventura for the first time ever, supposedly speaking, near or down Tacoma Road, there was a witness, there was like 3 people that witnessed it at the time, and it's like, who are those 3 people? And that's where the comments stem from. Someone was saying how, oh well, because of Memorial Day weekend, so you would have had higher traffic, it's inevitable that you'll get witnesses that see something going on. But we're talking about the 25th of May. That's not Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend is supposedly on the 28th, falling into the 29th, Saturday, Sunday. Not before that. Not Wednesday, the 25th. Memorial Day weekend didn't happen Wednesday, 25th. So still, there wouldn't be high volumes of traffic of people visiting because it's too soon before the event's begun. So that's what I'm, putting my argument across, that, other people can't be, visiting in high numbers. Not really. Also, what I just want to highlight, because just a random question, the people of Montello, or locals, whatever, get rid of that stupid sign there. There we go. You know when it got to Christmas time? What was it like? What's it like in Montello at Christmas time? Do people put lights up? Do families visit, or do people go elsewhere? Does anything happen? Yes, no? And also, like when it comes to Halloween or when it comes to bonfire night, do you ever get any chaos? Any guns being fired? Any big explosions of fireworks? Or does that not happen? Is it quiet? Just list your thoughts, okay, if you do know, okay? Montello Landing Strip, do we have any new images from there? Nope, we don't. That's still the same old, okay. I mean, this is the other thing, what we need to highlight. In the past, it was down here where that official marker was placed, both on Google Maps and Google Earth Pro, but not the standard Google Earth, which we're using right now, where there was that marker public set up called Dylan Round's Grain Shed. You remember that? Like a permanent named place. And, the people that were responsible did acknowledge it. I think the guy was called Jake who did it. The wife first commented and then Jake made his presence. And it was just interesting because, if you can do that, add in these named places, then why aren't other people adding their own locations of places of interest, places that have been searched and need to be searched? If you can upload this public, then why don't other people do it then? It'd probably be kind of useful and helpful, especially if you're trying to pinpoint the location of somewhere, whether it be Don Hately's original trailer, whether it be the name of Rosebud Wash. Like, if you can add these markers on yourself, these named locations, then I think it's worth doing, don't you? And yet no one seems to have done that, which is a bit weird. And as well, when you think of it now, it's almost like misinformation. I don't know if it's been updated since, I'll have to double check. But if they're calling this Dylan Round's Grain Shed, well, as we know with time, it's not Dylan Round's Grain Shed because he doesn't own it. So if that's not been updated, if anyone does see that with time, they're going to be somewhat misinformed. So it does need updating. So those people are present in the chat right now or secretly hiding in the background. Feel free to make changes if you think it's needed, necessary, okay? Is there anything else to talk about here? Not at this moment in time. I mean, if it was wet, the ground is, well, can't say the ground here because it's 2019 imagery, but it would have been somewhat suitable for vehicle use and access because the ground was flattened with time, hence why you saw some of the equipment laying about still to this day, right? But as we saw in one of Candice Cooley's photos, I think it was, or if it was Pancakes at some point, the road going up to the grain shed from the other way, if you're coming in from the north way and you're coming down south, you saw these like potholes in the ground, filled up with a bit of water, puddles, get the indication. But yeah, the wash, or one of the washes, whichever one's up for discussion, would that have had time to fill? Or not enough rain? So whilst it rained on the 28th and it was hellacious rain, was it enough to fill the wash, to make the wash wet? Or did it just drain away very quickly? Does anyone know? I know it didn't flood, but was there enough rainfall to cause like a stream, a flow of water to push whatever down? Because if that was compromised, then maybe it might have put off the people disposing of Dylan there, right? I guess the other thing what we need to acknowledge is, it seems to be back and forth about that. Whilst for the most part of it, people are saying, and Candice Cully directly has said, it all happened on Saturday the 28th, you know, Dylan being took out and Dylan being disposed. But then kind of recent, at least the last one I heard on Doug's channel, not the recent one, but a past one, Candice Cully then said, oh, but there's a possibility that, you know, if other people were involved, then maybe that was because of disposing of Dylan the following day, moving him elsewhere after that. And it's like, oh, so you're not really certain that. That's the only problem with Candice Cully. Sometimes she appears as if she is confident in what she says, but she knows what she's saying, but then she doesn't at a later point. And it's like, oh, that's kind of deceiving. Maybe unintentional, but just a little bit. As the likes of Doug, no thanks, he tends to exaggerate. If you see these patterns in behaviour from people, then you can know how to deal with them with time. Kind of like with pancakes. With pancakes, he gets a bit paranoid, right? Well, actually, we can get into that in a second, to be honest. Call it patterns of how you deal with humans in this case. Okay? So I think we'll leave it there for now. Let me know if there's any other place of interest. Like, you got this area here. I mean, is it much of interest? I don't know. But it's in a different direction, right? And it's near to the farm. Has anyone checked this area out? Which is opposite Little Pigeon Mountain. I'll drop the coordinates down now if you want to look into this area. There you go. Feel free to pause the video if you need time to write it down, okay? But yeah, I think we'll conclude there and move onwards. So yeah, if we're just referring back to what I was briefly saying about with certain people within the case and like how you handle them or how do you approach them, well, this is what I would say. When it comes to Kurt Wadsworth, drunk or not drunk, information has switched and changed. So you've got to be careful with what you listen to. Whatever comes out of his mouth, hold on to. Don't just suddenly react. Wait until the next time he comes out with a contrasting statement, okay? That's how I say that. As I said with Mr. Impetuous and the other out there, that's just more, you know, you got to be careful there as well because like it's more like control situation. They want to take over. Don't let that happen. If you let it happen, then they control you for life, or that imprint is left on you down the line. You don't want that, right? For all different purposes. Okay, attract the wrong crowd, and then it just ruins it for other people. When it comes to Doug, I guess you got to be just a little bit wary that when Doug does state things at times, if it is breaking news, to listen but not to fully internalise because it could be exaggeration, right? Exaggerated points, it's been done beforehand. And that maybe Doug knows what he's doing. So who he associates himself with at a certain point in time, there's a reason behind it. But just because that association has formed, it can also dissolve as well. So you've got to be cautious about that too. When it comes to Salty Pancakes, he's a bit of a hybrid, of course. You know, he's done the interviews, he's done the talking, he's done the walking, he's been there. Okay, yeah. But the one key critical thing that undoes Salty Pancakes and his credibility is when he starts going off on a whiny rant, okay? Whether he gets paranoid, where he starts obsessing about things or developing all these deep, dark conspiracies, starts tying one thing to another, whether it might be something to do with me, someone else, this and that. It's like, it's very unnecessary. When you start appearing as a prat, you know, you kind of undo all of the progress you've made up to now, right? And I know Pancakes did say at a point, he's growing, he's trying to be a better person, and trying to be a better person. You know, it's like, yeah, well, there is still little like bumps in the road that could be adjusted, right? Why does he get paranoid? Is it a substance? Is it who's in his circle? You know, does he just doubt, question too much? I don't know, right? But Shack Lady, I guess all I say there is be prepared for an onslaught of 10 hours long of talking and conversations about coffee and everything in between, okay? But is there anything negative to take away from the Shack Lady? I think maybe some people have just simply highlighted that the Shack Lady doesn't act on stuff. She allows things to happen. And there's a positive there. It allows people to share their thoughts and opinions. But I guess if the wrong opinions or the wrong people turn up, then it leads to the consequences, which I guess has probably resulted in the Shack Lady being silenced or attempted to be silenced at times, which is unfortunate. But I guess the other addition where, like, if you compare one force with not trying to let control be taken over, if something like that applies to the Shack Lady, which it has done, control has taken over. People have taken over the Shack Lady's streams, over talking, just taking control of it, and you don't want that either. You know, if you're the host for a reason. If you start getting overtaken, outspoken, it not that it's your fault, but it kind of ruins your credibility, and it just completely changes the power dynamics, right? You don't want some other person just to take over, because then it's not as natural. A bit more forced, it might put some people off, right? So really, in addition, what I will also say, kind of, well, not directly related to Dylan Rounds, but more so the people involved. There seems to be an awful lot of mugshots out there of different people, whether it be YouTubers or viewers. You know, okay, we've seen the regular ones here and there, but there's been some additional ones with time that have popped up. Yeah, it might have been 2009, 2008, 2006, 2022, and some others in between. But it's just interesting how all these, could you call them ex-criminals, or all these people with a past to do with getting in trouble with the law, the police, have all gathered into a true crime case. It's just kind of ironic in a way. Ex-criminals and people that might have got, you know, in trouble for whatever it might be. It could be battery, you know, 2022. It could be alcohol. It could be to do with drugs. It could be to do with, what else? Money-related issues, whatever, right? But it's just interesting how they get involved and interested in a crime when they've committed some form of crime themselves. And then there's me. No record at all, nothing like that. You know, it's weird. It's like with, because of the height, the build, the presence, facial expressions, I guess if it's like face to face, and like times in the past where I may have talked to a friend at some point, or like online or something, and they said, have you ever gotten into fights? And I said, no, I've never laid hands on anyone. And then people are actually surprised by that. Like, what? Really? Never? Wow. And then they end up giving their story saying, yeah, I got into a fight once at school, or I got in a fight here. Oh, I punched this boy in the face and broke his nose, and that's said by a female. And it's like, God. So whilst you got the general public, you know, general human race, all getting involved in fights, physical ones, and then there's me, who hasn't done any of that. Boring Andrew, average Andrew, considering testosterone levels, aggression levels. You know, when you're doing the weights, use that aggression to be able to lift those weights. Because if not, it's just, you don't have the same power or energy. But because of those levels, to be able to do what one does, and yet not to use it in the wrong way, there's a high level of control there. You know what I'm saying? And yet all these other humans out there who lack that control. Very interesting. Very interesting. Makes you think, doesn't it? But, you know, end of the day, Dylan Round's case continues. Whilst everyone else can warble, squawk, whinge, whine, go round in circles, I can balance that on top of covering this case. And we're going to continue to do so. And I said, if there is a moment where breaking news comes out and it turns out to actually not be that breaking news, we simply continue, okay, for as long as possible, providing there are valid points to cover, okay? Apologies about Kenny Veach related stuff, but I like to focus from one thing at a time. But of course, any breaking news about Kenny Veach, I will definitely make a video on that, whether it be tomorrow or in a few weeks' time, whenever it is, right? If there's breaking news. As for anything else in between, I guess we'll see. As it is like little small messy videos, still got a couple of them to go. I guess people like giggle in the background. Oh, look at little Warlike Raph coming along. Oh, he's going to do a little edit for me. Yeah, please, master. You call me master. Oh, we've upgraded. yeah, we've upgraded, please. Okay, you giggle all you like. You know, this is the thing. In different situations, doesn't matter, right? Any situation. Whether it be treating someone as a patient Not just talking to him normally, but treating him as a patient. That's one method. And if it's not that, if you can internalize someone's genotype, phenotype, right? Mirror their actions, interactional synchrony, makes them question themselves. I thought I was unique. I thought I was the only one. And yet this person can impersonate me. Oh, I don't feel as special anymore. Oh, tough shit, isn't it? But, you know, as time goes on, the belt keeps on clicking and whipping, okay? I think you do need to upgrade at some point, don't you think? But, you know, that does come with a special occasion, of course. The standard whip is still present. Is there anyone in the chat right now that needs to be whipped? I can't think of anyone's name on the spot, but I guess can do a final few before the video ends, okay? Who joined late yesterday? Was it Indiana? Yeah. Yeah, 4'11" doesn't mean shit. You know, I can still reach. Oh, yeah. Okay. Wes howling in the corner. Just a slight one. You know, we don't want to transform him too much. Stoney, absent as fuck. Yeah, Stoney. Yeah, Stoney. Fucking get it. Yeah, fucking give it, Stoney. Come on, fucking take it right now. Okay. Anyone else? Pack and Go, changing their username. Yeah, we all know the original source of that name. Whip and Go. You can't hide from it. Yeah, Whip and Go. Come on, boy. Patsy. Is it Patsy? No, Patsy is on a level of class and standards. She will not be whipped. No. Anybody else? Andrew Culver. Fucking hell, Andrew Culver. You've not been whipped, mate, but you got a bit of a dirty mouth at times, mate. Fucking hell. Don't know what's going on down here. Oh, fucking Andrew Culver. Yeah, just think about those kangaroos that can never touch you because they don't exist in New Zealand. What a shame. Yeah, just imagine if you woke up one day, Andrew, to a gang, maybe a gang of 5 kangaroos around your bed. You like that? Holding whips? Yeah, thought so. Come on, Andrew Culver, mate. Fucking go on, mate. Crack on. Crikey. This is right out of this world, man. And speaking of which, don't worry, Andrew Culver, you're not the only one. From what I've heard in recent time, who was it now? In Salty Pancakes live stream, Lady Luck or Lady L turned out to be an Australian saying, fucking hell, mate, easy 90, he's a piece of shit, POS. Right on. Fucking hell, mate, who the hell are you, Lady L? Try and do an Australian accent, don't worry, Sheila. I can do a proper Australian accent, maybe better than yours. Don't worry, you got any resistance, we've got the whip ride. Oh yeah, underarm boy, come on. There we go. Even Cleo, just a slight welcome back to Cleo, because Cleo did appear in the chat recently, if you weren't aware, so that's good of her to pop back in again. So, hello Cleo. Yeah, Cleo. Just a slight whip, Cleo. Yeah, okay. Anybody else? There's always room for people. Okay, no worries there. Okay, Corinne, where are you at? Don't know. There's a slight introductory one. You know, we've got to introduce the introductory whips as well. Yeah, there you go, Corinne. Slight introductory. There you go. Maria. Yeah, Maria. Oh, yeah. You want to be tickled by this belt? What? Never heard of that before. You're trying to... you experimenting, Maria. Yeah, I understand. There you go, Maria. There you go. Anyway, I think that concludes that. Bellevue? No. Kaylee? No, not yet. So I think that will do for now, okay? Thanks for watching. Of course, if you have just joined and are very confused, make sure to rewind back to the start of this video to catch up on the Dylan Rounds discussion and the weather too, okay? If you've got any additional thoughts, opinions, ideas, concepts, whatever, feel free to list it down below in the comment section and we'll see what happens next, okay? Thanks for watching, goodbye and good night for now.